Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to the Working Man's Whiskey. I'm Bobby. Guys, the whiskey I'd like to talk about today, this one here in front of me, Yellowstone Select. I've been wanting to do this one for a while, guys. I first had Yellowstone back, it was several months ago, probably 6-8 months ago, I'd say. I was with my wife at this place called the Beer Baron in Santa Rosa. And it's called the Beer Baron, but they kind of specialize in whiskey. The whole back wall of the bar is from the floor and to all the way to the top of the ceiling, which is about 20 feet, and it's all whiskey. So you can order it by the glass, by the ounce or 2 ounces, whatever it is. So I tried a couple different whiskeys there, and this was one of them. And I remember being very impressed, guys. Really good stuff. They don't really sell it too often around here. I don't really see it anywhere. If anybody's going to have it, it's the Bottle Barn. And sure enough, I went in there last week, I believe it was, and saw it there. And I think it was about a week ago today that I was in there and saw it. So knew I wanted to try it out. The price is right, guys. I knew if it was decent stuff, it'd be well worth it. $30.99 is the price that I paid for it. Left the price tag on the bottle there. But it's funny. It's called Yellowstone. It got nothing to do with the show Yellowstone, if anybody was thinking that. Yellowstone has been around since 1872. Since the park opened, since Yellowstone National Park opened. It's got some pretty historical names attached to it. I believe T.J. Dant was the one who, I believe he is, I want to say he's the son of J.W. Dant. Could be wrong, but same family. And he was the one that started this whiskey back in the 1800s. It passed through several hands, long story short, passed through several hands along the years, and was recently resurrected by a couple of guys, Stephen Beam being one of them. And it's funny, Stephen Beam and his brother, I believe, see if I can remember his name, but sorry if you guys happen to see this, if I forgot your name. But these guys they descend from both the, obviously, Beam family and also the Dant family, J.W. Dant, all these guys. So their goal was to resurrect their great-great-great-great-grandfather's, whiskey. It was around a long time. It's past, this has been associated with, in later years, Heaven Hill and Luxco, and now they're bottling. It says distilled in Asian Kentucky, bottled by Limestone Branch Distillery, which is the distillery that Steve and his brother are operating, and so they have it back. It was a source whiskey at one point. I believe it's a mix of whiskey that's sourced from somewhere else, and then they distill some of it themselves as well. I think the sourced whiskey, from what I remember, is 7 years old, and their whiskey is about 4 years old. So mix between 4 and 7 year old barrels, and really excited to talk about this stuff, guys, because as you can see, I've tried it a couple times since buying the bottle, and I really like this stuff. Really good stuff. So I'll read the back of the bottle here. And it says, in 2010, my family and I founded Limestone Branch Distillery with the intention of crafting only the finest whiskey and the dream of restoring the Yellowstone brand to its former glory. In the spring of 2015, over a century after our great-grandfather M.C. Beam sold his distillery to Yellowstone, that dream came true. To celebrate this family reunion of sorts, we bring you Yellowstone Select Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. To the nose, it's leather with hints of citrus and oak. On the tongue, it's spicy rye with soft cherries fading into smoked caramel. and a memorable finish rich with brown sugar and Kentucky tradition. Enjoy. And that was, again, that's Stephen B. Beam, president and distiller of Yellowstone. So don't mind the just a little bit of glue on my hands there, guys, from work today. So give it a pour here. All right, nice healthy pour. And this stuff is 93 proof, by the way, 46.5% ABV. And kind of like the label here, guys. It's pretty neat. Bottle as well. Bottle's kind of reminiscent of Booker's and Baker's. They use more of that kind of wine bottle shape. And being part of the Beam family, it's kind of cool to see the little relation there. So anyway, guys, let's check this stuff out, see what we got. So in the glass, guys, it's fairly dark. It's a solid amber color. You can see a little bit of char in there. It has some good stick to the glass, definitely. All right, let's give it a nose. And on the nose, this is one of those whiskeys, guys, that this is my style of whiskey, what I really, really gravitate to, what I really enjoy. Just one of those nice, even on the nose, nice rich whiskeys. Good rich bourbon here. Yeah, you got your allspice, vanilla, definitely a caramel note in this. Definitely some good oak, especially for, it's a mix of barrels between 4 and 7 years, but getting some of that richer, a little bit older whiskey in here. It smells pretty good, guys. Just one of those, again, rich whiskeys that just has a lot of, you can tell it's going to have a lot of flavor to it. And for 93 proof, it's got a little bit of nuttiness as well. Kind of reminiscent of like a Heaven Hill product. But for 93 proof, on the nose, I would guess, it doesn't have any burn or anything, but with all the stuff coming through, I would guess this is a little bit higher in proof than it is. It's 93 proof, so not too bad, but I would guess this was closer to 100 just on the nose itself. So let's give it a taste. And it's definitely one, I would have guessed that this was a little bit higher in proof. Again, on the palate as well. It's one of those whiskeys that kind of makes you pucker a little bit, kind of dries your mouth out a little bit. But it's just got so much flavor going on, guys. Again, I get that allspice. I get vanilla. Definitely some good caramel, brown sugar notes in there. Some good deep brown sugar notes. Definitely get some cherry in there as well. Dark fruit. It has a lot going on for it. Take another taste here. Nice thick mouthfeel as well. Yeah, back to the oak. Definitely get some good oak. This is reminiscent to me. It's funny because Heaven Hill was one of those names that was involved with it at one point. I don't know if the whiskey or the distillery that this is sourced from, or part of it is sourced from, is Heaven Hill. I can't remember which one it was, or if it even said, but it said that some of it was sourced whiskey, some was made in house. But this is kind of reminiscent of a Heaven Hill product to me, definitely. It kind of reminds me. It's just really, really good. It kind of reminds me of the Evan Williams. Kind of the single barrel. A little bit reminiscent of the Bottled and Bond as well. It has that Heaven Hill thing going on for me there. And then again, it kind of reminds me of some of Beam's small batch stuff. It almost reminds me of of Booker's, but with just a little, you know, I mean, Booker's is 107 proof, but just a little bit like bourbon, or Booker's with the, excuse me, I'm thinking Baker's. It reminds me of Baker's, which is 107 proof, but not, you know, it's toned down a little bit, being 93 proof. You know, I would have, like I said, I would have guessed this was 100 proof or so, but it's got a lot of flavor, guys. Great buy here. $30.99 is what I paid for this before tax. And I'm really glad I did. I remember enjoying this at the Beer Baron, but I'm even more impressed now. You know, and I think this actually did pretty well because I opened it again, as I said. You know, I tasted this a couple times after I bought it last week, and I think this is one that has done pretty well with a little, you know, oxidization or whatever. You know, just getting that little bit of air to it has really. I mean, it was good when I opened it. You know, when I opened it, I probably would have given it a score probably you know, 86, 87. But now, guys, tasting this again, more baking spice, cinnamon, clove, that vanilla, that good brown sugar, you know, that cherry note in there, the oak, all this stuff, you know, it's just, you know, that good vanilla in there. I would give this, I'm going to give this a 91 out of 100. I really, really enjoy this. And for the price, guys, that $30.99, if you blind, you know, taste tested me on this or whatever, I would honestly probably guess this was a $50 product. You know, at least a $50 product. I would put it in the same category as far as, you know, whiskeys that I love as a Baker's, getting up there toward a Booker's or a Stag Junior. It's getting up there. You know, it's not quite there, but it's getting up there. And I highly recommend this. If you can find this, they're doing great things. Yellowstone is one to look out for. Definitely check it out. Try it out, guys. But if you find this stuff for the price that I found it for, $30.99, that's a steal for this. Just straight up a steal. So, again, guys, I'm giving this a 91 out of 100. And that's it pretty much for this review. Should be back soon, guys. I've got several whiskeys to review. I got a couple other products that aren't whiskey to review as well. A beer that's kind of related to a whiskey. And I also want to review one of America's oldest spirits, which I really enjoy. And, you know, being a big fan of history, especially American history, this has a lot of history behind it. So looking forward to reviewing that as well. And that's it for now, guys. Hope you all enjoy your weekend, and hope to talk to you all soon. Definitely comment, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the video. So that's about it for now. Hope you're all doing well, and until next time, cheers.